And so each time I
Yeah.
changed what I was doing, I was breaking another shell.
Wow.
Yeah, I
Wow.
have to show the world all that I want to be and all my abilities. There's so much more in me. I get emotional.
Wow.
I get emotional just thinking about how much I doubted myself, how much imposter syndrome
Yeah.
takes over you when you're trying to do something that you're naturally gifted at.
Wow.
You know, you can do it. You can do it.
We're gonna be crying like Oprah.
Woo!
Welcome to Singing Your Own Song, where purpose and passion meet under life's spotlight. In each captivating episode, we'll highlight the unique career journey of a special guest, where boundaries are pushed, dreams are realized, and purpose takes center stage. Get ready to be inspired, enlightened, and motivated as we uncover stories of those who have not only found their calling, but are living it every day. And now, your host, Carlton Burrows.
Well, hello to the listening and viewing audience. I have got to say, I am probably more excited for this show than I have been for any yet. And, I know I might get in some trouble for saying that. I don't pick favorites, but I'll say this has been one, it's been a long time coming. This sister right here is in high demand. She is blessed and highly favored. She is a rising star and a powerhouse in the Atlanta music and entertainment community. And to me, most importantly, she's a sincere, cool sister. I mean, I see her as a friend. We've shared the stage together before. We've uh, you know, shared some chops back and forth. But I think just to be able to sit and chop it up with her as a friend is really one of the coolest things. So I am looking forward to spending some time with Miss Bree Shannon, and the crowd goes wild. Yay! So why don't we do it like this, Bree? Like I said, we could get into our friend zone, but so Bree has been a very storied and decorated singer, performer, featured artist for several years now. Prior to that, she spent some time in the corporate world, and we just recently found out that we have actually not only do we share music together, but we also share some career background, which is like, man, what's going on? Did I find my twin or something, my shadow twin? So I think rather than kind of trying to go through all of your accolades and the things you've accomplished and all your recognition, Bree, let me hand it over to you and say that I'm excited to have you on the show and
Thank you for
welcome aboard.
having me. Thank you for having me, Carlton. Yes, it has been a
Absolutely.
long time coming. We've had to reschedule and reschedule and
We did.
reschedule,
We did. We did.
just because of schedule.
Yes. 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 Yes.
So I am excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Well, Bree, so maybe let's start where I start with a lot of guests. Really talk a little bit about your story. How did you get into what you're doing today? What was that turning point that really triggered you, or I don't want to say triggered you, but that was the catalyst for you
Uh-huh.
to begin singing your own song and doing music for a living?
Okay. Well, I grew up dancing,
Okay.
and a musical theater. So at the age of 12, now we started dancing, or I say we, my sisters and I started
Okay.
dancing when I was 5, 6.
Okay.
I started in musical theater about 12. Had my first
Mm.
audition, went and auditioned. I went with a friend because she was auditioning, and she was like, "You should audition." I'm like, "All right." And needless to say, I got the part. And I did my first musical theater show at 12. So
Okay.
I grew up singing, grew up dancing,
Sure.
grew up being on stage, and I had dreams of being a dancer, not a singer, not a Broadway. Well, that's a lie. More of a dancer. Okay.
Okay.
So my dreams were finish high school, go to New York, and become a dancer. And instead, I went into engineering because my dad wouldn't let me go to New York because that's where I wanted to go because that's where Debbie Allen was on the movie of Fame. And that's where I figured I'd be able to be successful. So when he was not comfortable with me going so far away, he told me to find a place close, Florida. I went to Florida State University for 3 years. I checked out their dance program, and because I was not a ballerina or a
Mm.
modern dancer, I was a tapper. Their dance program was not attractive to me, so I went into engineering because I was good at math and good at science. Um, make a long story short, I'm at Florida State. I'm in electrical engineering. I couldn't pass those major course, C minus, C minus, C minus. Out of state fees are expensive. So I came home. I enrolled at Southern Polytech. It is now bought by Kennesaw. It's
Okay.
owned by Kennesaw now. But I went enrolled in Southern Polytech, changed to industrial engineering, stayed on the dean's list, graduated in '94, got a job at Southwire Company in Carrollton, and I worked there in engineering for about a year and a half. Transferred into HR, and that's how I started my HR career. Worked in HR for years,
Okay.
and left my passion for performing completely because I didn't think or believe that I could really make a living, successful, get a house, have the nice
Yeah.
car, all of the things. Nobody ever said I couldn't do that. Matter of fact, growing up, my mom said I could do and be anything I wanted to. My dad wasn't looking for a bunch of degrees and stuff, but in my mind, I thought I needed to be this corporate woman, this accomplished woman, this, woman of, so I was never discouraged. Mind you, this was my mindset. So I worked in HR for a number of years, and I just remember feeling not satisfied. I was
Okay.
good at that, but that was not fulfilling to me. A girlfriend of mine wrote a play, Carlton. She asked me to be the lead. It had been about 10 years since I'd even done performing arts again. I did that. A couple
Okay.
weeks later, I ran into this guy. He was traveling with a musical, a play. I couldn't do it because I had a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
an HR manager over a region,
Okay.
making very good money. And I just remember my prayer changing to be, God, how can you help me move or change my career? I really want to be in entertainment. I really want
Yeah.
to act again, blah, blah, blah. I prayed this prayer. 2 weeks later, Carlton, they eliminated my position
Wow. Are
at
you
work.
serious?
I was excited. My coworkers was like, did you hear what they said? We are losing our job. And I'm
Yeah.
over there like,
Wow.
yes, I was so excited because that was opportunity for me. I saw that as God answering my prayers.
Wow.
So I just took that opportunity. I took a severance. I stayed for another 3 months, gave me a nice severance package, and I went back to all the places I grew up acting, dancing. I became the office manager at the Children's Performing Arts School I grew
Wow.
up in. Became a dance teacher at the dance studio. And so, yeah, I just surrounded myself
Wow.
with entertainment. I didn't know what to do, but I knew if I put myself in the environment, opportunities would come for me. And in a nutshell, that's how I kind of got back into it. That was
Yeah.
one of the awakenings.
Wow. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
that's amazing, and I think I'm listening to you, and I know part of your story, but we've never had this exact conversation, and
Mm,
we did it intentionally, right? I wanted to
mhm,
be authentic when we had this conversation on the show,
sure.
and it was so different than what I expected. I mean, because you came at it from a perspective of you were looking for an opportunity to do what you love. You were asking and praying for a door to open or for something to
Yes.
happen in your life to make that shift,
Yes.
and this thing came your way and you were able to to discern and recognize that this was that blessing, in spite of the fact that a lot of people may have been like, oh my God, I'm losing my job, and freak out, versus seeing, oh wait a minute, God's opening an opportunity for me to do exactly what I love. So I'd love to hear about when you started doing exactly what you love.
Yes.
Talk about that, man. Talk about, I mean, I would imagine, and I know every day is not nirvana, it's not bliss, but talk to me about the joy and how you feel with your day, man.
Oh my gosh. So just from that beginning and the way that he has allowed me, I worked at Six Flags Over Georgia. From there I went to work on cruises because I met somebody in the cast with me who was going. Just the way that he has orchestrated my entertainment career is nothing but him.
Wow.
So I went on the cruise ships and I stayed out there for like 12 years. I go, contracts were like 6 to 8 months. And I just loved it. Was almost like the best decision I could have ever made. When I left that job, I was making a third of what I made as a manager, and I was the happiest I'd ever been, Carlton. And I was
Wow.
like, Lord, you got to help me pay this house note. You got to help me pay this car note. And I got the job on the cruise ship and ended up renting out my house and whatnot. So being able to learn how to work with other people,
Yeah.
learning the process of putting up a show, from start to finish, the behind the scenes stuff, the production stuff, I learned a whole lot. Just being out there for 12 years, it just taught me a lot. It helped me hone my craft. I learned how to sing and dance, like dance full on and sing at the same time. You know how Beyonce
Yeah,
does?
yeah, yeah,
She's a
exactly.
master at it. But
Wow.
I was able to learn how to do those things so I could,
Wow.
you know, just better. I just got better, got good. I got good, Carlton. But it is well, how can I describe how that feels? It's just refreshing. It brings joy to you to
Yeah.
be able to get up every day and do what you love to do. It doesn't feel like a chore, it doesn't feel like work. You
Wow.
don't mind doing it.
Let's turn that a little bit into this concept, and I know you've heard it before, of purpose. Of, everyone here is here with a purpose, and it's a God-given purpose. You put here with a certain set of gifts, and a lot of our duty, responsibility in this journey is to find out, number one, hone those gifts, but then also find out what that purpose is and do everything you can every day to
Mhm.
live up to that purpose that we've been, and I use the term ordained, not in a churchy way, but that
Right.
we've been, ordained with.
Chosen to
So
do. Yeah.
yeah, so what are your thoughts there? I mean, and how do you feel for folks who may feel that and may not necessarily have all those pieces aligning yet? How are you able to get those things to align in your life and really, walk in your purpose?
It really is submitting.
Wow.
Pretty much. Yeah, it's a submitting to the natural gifts that you
Okay.
have.
Okay.
It's submitting to the passion that you have. And it's also believing that you can actually do it. I think one of the struggles for me getting to what I'm doing now is believing that I was good.
Oh wow.
Believing that I was good enough, believing I could make money doing it, believing, now I have a vocal coaching studio, and believing that I could actually attract clients and students and that they'd want to take from me. Um,
So Bree, talk,
believing
well, talk about that. What was, how did you get that belief? What did it, were there some things that came along that triggered or built that belief?
Oh, the more you do it, the
Okay.
more you do it, the more, yeah, the more that you exercise the gift.
Okay.
The
Okay.
more you exercise the gift, the better you get at it, the more comfortable you become, the more confident you become. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so even when I have students and they come to me for vocal, I consider myself more of a coach than a teacher. I
Yeah.
guess it's teaching, coaching, it's kind of the same thing, but there are vocal teachers who, went to school for
Yes. Yes. Yes.
sort of thing. And I struggled with that, Carlton. I did not
Okay.
go to school for what I do.
Mm,
Everything I do is from experience. You
okay.
know what I mean? And I've been on the stage since I was 12 years old. So sometimes I would doubt my ability
Absolutely.
to
Yeah.
teach and to be effective, right? I had to get over it. Um because it was keeping me from being used. It was keeping me from sharing my gift
Yeah. Yeah.
freely
Yeah.
and not being all, I don't know, am I gonna, like, get over yourself, first of all, Bree.
Yeah.
God gave you the gift, and I'm a Christian. Do you believe him? Do
Wow.
you believe that he will be with you? Do you believe that he gives you the ability? Well, if you
Yeah.
believe that, go out and do what he's called you to do, and know that he's going to help you be effective.
Wow.
So I had to get over that. I had to get over that. And that was the hardest thing, getting to where I am right now, was to continually believe you're good, you are desired. People do want you to be a part of what they got going on.
Wow.
And you are making a difference. You're making a difference, Bree.
Wow. Wow. And,
Yeah.
and, and that's a big thing. I mean, I think because sometimes, and you just help transform it, right? Because if we talk about belief and we talk about faith and we talk about, you know, fear, right? Because you
Yeah.
fear that you're not good enough and you fear that
Yeah.
people won't receive what you're doing. I get it. As an artist, right? We know when you put out that performance or that song that you wrote, or, you kind of want everybody to be as excited about it as you.
Yeah.
So you have to, like you said, humble yourself and remove me from the equation and say, okay, God gave me this. So now I'm a vessel. I have to now just utilize it, hone it, and put it out to the best of my ability. And
Yeah.
you have to read the indicators, right? Because you're getting indicators that you have talent. You're getting indicators you wouldn't have been chosen.
Right.
on a cruise ship, or
Right.
to
Clearly
do
you're
all
good
the,
enough. Yeah.
exactly.
Clearly
Wow.
you're good enough because you were chosen. And then you have
Yeah.
to remember it ain't you anyway. I mean, it depends on
Yeah.
what your belief is. It
Yeah.
depends on
Yeah. Yeah.
who, you know what I mean? My life I've submitted to God. And so
Mhm.
I know that I can't do anything of myself and without him.
Wow.
So if I have the belief or if I have the mindset that God is moving and doing things through me,
Yeah.
there's nothing I can't do.
And that's faith. That, we look
Yeah.
at it, like you said, it's the definition of faith.
Yeah, it's nothing I can't do.
Wow, that's amazing. So I'm glad you shared that. So talk a little bit about, and you touched on it a little bit, but I'm
Mhm.
going to tease it out because you know how we do, right?
Okay.
You took a third the money, right,
Yes.
to travel and do a lot of the great things. And I think I heard you say you supplemented the income with renting out your place. You did some other stuff, but how do you reconcile when you are doing what you're called to do, but then now you have a decision over here, which is like, oh my God, I got to figure out how I can live off less than half of what I was
Right.
earning.
Right. Again, so that period of working
Mhm.
or living off of a third of what I was making,
Yeah.
I mean, it's only by the grace of God, Carlton, I have the family that I have
Okay.
and the
Okay.
people that support me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It took a lot of phone calls to, to bill people, to
Yeah.
mortgage people working with
Wow.
me and whatnot. It was a short time, but it was a long enough time. But once I started working for the cruise ship,
Yeah.
that changed and it
Definitely.
shifted. And it was a faith walk. It really was because, I knew I wasn't making the same amount of money. I had to be on a budget.
Yeah.
And I just had to do things differently.
Yeah.
So it was just jumping in the deep end. It wasn't a thought to, I can't do it. It was like, I'm doing it
Yeah.
and asking God to just, bless it
Yeah.
pretty much. And I know that was faith too. And I was a younger Christian then. It was, God hadn't given me evidence of all these things he's given me up to this point, but I still knew him. I still knew that he had taken care of me all the other times. So
Wow.
this was no different, from college to getting my first job to going into HR to moving to Macon for a little while to losing that job and finding another one. So if you think about all
Yeah.
the times he shows up for you, this time was no different, even with the
Wow.
pay cut, you
Wow.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
no different. So it was faith. It was a faith walk. This whole journey has been a faith walk and really, really trying to, be in his will and stay in his will because you can't just make moves. You can, but you definitely don't want to do it without him. You don't
Yeah.
make no moves without him because he'll let you know he ain't with you.
Well, and so, and we won't spend a lot of time on this, but I think
Sure.
everyone's read and seen a lot of what's going on in the entertainment industry these days, right? With some of the
Mm-hmm.
things that are being exposed. So
Mm-hmm.
I guess one of the things I would say is, like you said, it's a faith walk, but it's also, I'm sure you see and are exposed to things that could pull you in a different direction, and you can make more money, right? You can
Mm-hmm.
probably make a whole lot more money positioning, packaging yourself a certain way. How do you balance that? How do you stay on track? And I think, and I'll take it a step further. When you were talking about the faith walk,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I'm sure there was a period where you're like, oh, man, I could just go back out here and get me an HR job and, keep doing this on the side.
Yeah.
So how do you talk about that?
I never said that, Carlton.
Okay, good, good.
I never said I could go back and I never wanted to go back to corporate America.
Okay,
So I never considered going back to find a 9 to 5 once I left and saw that I could make money doing something in the entertainment. I just knew I needed to up the ante, right?
okay,
So it wasn't um let me go back to this stable nine to
mhm,
five hourly.
yeah,
I didn't want to do that at all.
okay,
Um as far as kind of being out here and being tempted by better pay or money or opportunities, you if you have a set of standards for yourself,
hmm,
if you know what you want, what you don't what you want to deal with, what you don't,
yeah,
y- if I say no to the things that do not resonate with me or do not line up with my standards, God will provide another opportunity for me that'll be better
wow,
and that's better than the thing that I think I have to submit to what seems like is a better opportunity.
yeah,
So experience allows me to be able to strengthen that muscle, to not be
wow,
uh lured in. Like I've never been that though. I think I've been in Christ since I was 26.
Wow.
26 years old, right? I didn't really start my journey with entertainment until I was 34 years old.
Wow. Okay.
So it ain't never too late.
It is. I love it. I
It's
love it.
never too late to start. It's never too late to start anything, long as you living and breathing. And so I had strengthened my walk with Christ up until I had gone out to do things. And you can definitely, I know people know the saying, you know, if you're a Christian, you can be in the world but not of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was a test for me. I mean,
Okay.
absolutely, because
Okay.
you know, you're out there, you're on the ship, you go free, you going in all these places and ports and stuff. You're meeting all these people,
Yeah.
all these beautiful people, these men from different countries that are like, hey, hey girl, you know what I mean? Just
I hear you.
all kinds of things, you
Yeah.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? And yeah, it was a balance. It was a learning experience for me,
Yeah.
Carlton. But I never lost who I was in Christ. I never left him. I did struggle sometimes to stay on the straight and narrow
Okay.
just because I was not in a community with other Christians. I wasn't regularly in my word. It wasn't, you know,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. But at the same time, my principles and standards have always kind of been what they are.
Nice.
And because of that, God kept me. He'll keep you from yourself if you ask him. He'll keep
That's
you
amazing.
from yourself, you know. So that's how I'm okay at that.
Okay.
If I'm
Okay.
in a place I don't like and I don't like the way I'm being treated
Yeah.
and I don't like the way other people, you know, I don't have to stay here because God will provide another opportunity. And that's what he's done.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Yeah.
And you do those, and those choices sometimes are so in the moment, you know, because
Yes.
I've been there. I've been in the studio and I walk in, you know, flying some backgrounds or something, and you know, you see things on the table and hear things and smell things. You're like, ah. But then
Smell things all the time. We
all
smell
the
things
time,
all the
all the
time.
time, right? So, I think part of it just becomes around, like you said, stay focused and really
Yeah.
stay in your truth, right? Because
Yeah.
your truth is what's going to guide your behavior. Your truth is what's going to guide your outcomes.
Yes, absolutely.
So let
Absolutely.
me ask you something, and this is I know this is a kind of funny question to answer. So it can be someone who's still with us or not. It can be
Uh-huh.
someone who knows it or doesn't know it.
Mm-hmm.
Who has been the biggest, I'll say, inspiration, whether it be at a mentally level or whether it just be at just a grand, hey, I want to shoot for that kind of level.
There's so many people.
Okay, we got to pick one, maybe two, right?
If I had to pick one, it would be Debbie Allen.
Oh wow, okay,
Debbie Allen, she's a singer, dancer, actor, choreographer. She's a director, a
yeah,
writer. She has a dance academy in Los Angeles.
okay,
She, again, when I was a little girl, you know, Fame was the movie that inspired me to want to be a dancer. And
yeah,
she was phenomenal. You know, if you go back and see any of her performances, she was like the first Black woman to be Maria in West Side Story, and her performance was amazing. She's one. Cheryl Lee Ralph is
okay.
another one. Moesha Mama, you
I
know,
know.
Dina in Dreamgirls. She was in all these different Broadway, you know, they come from
Yeah,
the stage. These
yeah,
people that come from the stage, they're just phenomenal. And most actors that are stage actors are the A-list
yeah.
TV film actors also. A lot of
Oh,
those guys, Denzel, a lot of them came from the stage, you
wow.
know. So that doggone Debbie Allen is the GOAT to me. And
Yeah,
you know, she has gone through this industry with grace. You know what I mean? She's had a husband by her side that has, you know, supported her and worked with her, and they had this thing together, a partnership.
wow,
You know what
wow,
I mean?
wow.
And it's just something that I want. You know what I
Okay.
mean? She inspires me, and I aspire to be someone known like that in the
Yeah,
industry.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
so you touched on something, Bree. You talked about, you know, you love what she's done, even in terms of her husband being with her and the family, etc.
Yeah.
I would imagine being on the road all the time, being truly a full-time entertainer. Is that is it difficult to maintain relationships? And maybe
Well,
speak to me too.
listen, Carlton, I ain't had one in so long.
So talk about that. What's sis?
I ain't had one in so long. Not so long, but so long. Okay. Um, Well, yeah, it was,
Okay.
even when I was traveling and doing the ships, there were,
Yeah.
I had a few relationships on the ship. Like I said, this was a 12-year span. And when I say I had a few, I can count on one hand.
I
You know what I
hey,
mean? And I
yeah.
had experiences with, I can even say or share that different kind of men, different type of
Hey,
men
yep.
from different backgrounds, and different experiences with them, the way they date and the way they, treat their women totally different. But I know plenty of people who traveled and did the ships and stuff who found love
Okay.
and got married, got off the ships and started a life on land and this and that. So I can't say it was because I was traveling.
Okay.
So I don't chalk it up to that. I could easily use it as an excuse. So, I haven't been married or, I haven't met my person because I traveled for so long. Well, I've been off ships since 2018 and here
Okay.
I am still. You know what I mean? Um, and I don't think that it's something difficult if it's the right person. I
Right.
don't. And I just haven't found that person yet. And so I don't chalk it up to traveling so much and doing this because, you know, if it's the right person, it'll work.
It worked.
I believe that. So I don't want to default to that and think that I have to change what I'm doing, who I am, what my gift is, what my dreams are in order to be in position to find the right man, or to find the right partner.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think it's because I was traveling and stuff. I just think it just has not happened for me yet, Carlton.
Well, men in the audience, you hear this beautiful young lady, Bree, talented, and so Bree, let's talk about some of your accolades. I mean, I know you've been highlighted as in cameos and in some speaking roles in quite a few TV shows, right? So
Ah,
do you want to tell me
yes.
about maybe just your few favorites?
We're switching over to acting. Is
Yeah,
that what
well,
we're doing?
hey, look, why not? You're a
Okay. Well,
holistic
see,
artist.
listen, I'm so grateful to have different talents, and to be able to experience entertainment in different genres. So, there's the stage part, there's the singing with bands and corporate bands and this and that. There's the musical theater, there's the ships,
Yes.
there's the vocal coaching, and then there's the TV and film. And so I have been or had the opportunity to be in some of the best roles, and now they're co-star roles,
Mhm.
and they're like one scenes or two scenes. But when I tell you that it's with, top networks.
Okay.
So I had an opportunity to be a part of Black Mafia Family on Stars, did
Uh-huh.
an episode with them, Disney Plus, Marvel,
Wow.
right?
Okay.
She-Hulk. Um,
Wow.
She-Hulk, I did an episode of She-Hulk, and my latest project was Will Trent. So I got
Oh,
to be on
okay.
prime time TV, y'all. Prime time ABC, prime time. And that's big. You
That
know what I
is
mean?
wow.
One scene, but that one scene for me that was an accomplishment. You know what I mean? And I celebrate all my wins. I don't care how small they are.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
celebrate all my wins, and I feel like that those are just opportunities to open more doors.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yes, God has been good to me. He has been kind and shown me favor over the last 2, 3 years since I've been off the ship, and I just look forward to him opening more doors. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited, Carlton.
That is amazing. And I think you spoke it. I mean, one of the things that you touched on is sometimes it's just being in the right place and just pursuing opportunity. And I always say when you don't know what turn you're going to take until you start walking down a hall. There are roads
Exactly.
that you don't even see. So the
Gotta
fact that
move.
you're in a scene, I mean, how many people can say, "Hey, I was in a scene with Denzel, and then somebody saw me, and now my whole career is blown up," right? So
Yeah,
one of these scenes may just
it's
someone may
gonna
just see
hit,
you.
Carlton. It's
Yeah.
gonna hit,
Oh my goodness.
and they're gonna be like, "Who is that chick?
Hey,
I gotta work with her
we
again."
knew a win,
Oh
right?
my God, just her presence here. That's what they're going. Her presence, where I cannot get her off my mind.
Your energy. I mean, and I happen to know I was a little surprised I do get Debbie Allen. I thought you were going to say Tina Turner,
Well,
just
that's
because.
singing. That's a different genre. We're not there yet.
I
So
gotcha.
so so it depends on what the genre is. So
Okay.
for that, Debbie Allen does it all. So
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
all of that. Tina Turner was my entertainer.
Uh,
She's like my spirit animal. Her whole, like,
I,
everything she does, she
yeah,
was different. She was not afraid to be different. Her voice is unique. Her energy is, off the chain. So she's my favorite performer.
yeah.
She's my favorite entertainer performer.
Wow.
And other singers, Diana Ross was an
Okay.
inspiration to me growing up. I'm a little girl. She's beautiful. She's in Lady Sings the Blues, Mahogany. She was an actress also. Got to be in the
Absolutely.
scenes with Billy D. Williams. He was the heartthrob of the 80s. So
Yes.
when I saw her, I'm like, I want to be her. I want to do that. Stephanie Mills in The Wiz,
Wow.
I don't even know how old she might have been a teenager then, but those people, Regina King. Regina King is my
Wow.
age. When I saw her on 227,
Yeah.
I've been following her all her life because I saw me.
Yeah.
I was like, I could do that. I could do exactly what she's doing. But I didn't pursue it like she did. And but those people stay in my heart. Those people, when I see them, I'm so excited and happy for all of their accomplishments and everything that they achieve because they have been an inspiration all my life.
Yeah. And I think what you just said is powerful. You studied your craft. You were studying your craft in a way that may not have always been doing it every day on stage, but
Mhm.
you were looking at, okay, how do they prepare? How do they get ready? Who's doing
All
what I
that.
want to do? What was their path? And that's amazing because it is like anything else is a business, right? So you got to
Yes.
understand the different elements of it, right?
Yes.
So let's do something fun now because I know we've talked about the journey and it's
Uh-oh.
an amazing journey.
Uh-oh.
So yeah, I know you got to bring your skills together, and I would make
Uh-oh.
it a little bit more complex. So the name of this podcast is "Singing Your Own Song." If your life's journey was a song, it could be a real song, or it could be one that you made up, whatever. But tell me about that song. What would be the genres, the style? Is it uptempo? Is it a ballad? Is it a classic? So I want to hear about this song.
Well, it would definitely be upbeat, Carlton, because it goes with my personality. It would be old school R&B ish. I mean, it's not, if I had to pick one, because I don't write, I don't make my own songs. I'm not trying to be a recording artist. So it wasn't like I wouldn't produce anything or write anything. I would be the singer of it. Um, it would be I'm Coming Out, Diana Ross.
Wow.
I want the world to know. Got to let it show. All the words to that
Yes.
song just talks about each time I might have even had to start over again, or the different turning points in my career. There's
Wow.
a new me coming out, and I have to live, and I want to give. I'm completely positive. I think this time around, I am gonna do it like you never knew it. Yeah, you know what I mean?
I
The
love it.
time has come for me to break out of the shell. And so each time I
Yeah.
changed what I was doing, I was breaking another shell.
Wow.
Yeah, I
Wow.
have to show the world all that I want to be and all my abilities. There's so much more in me. I get emotional.
Wow.
I get emotional just thinking about how much I doubted myself, how much imposter syndrome
Yeah.
takes over you when you're trying to do something that you're naturally gifted at.
Wow.
You know, you can do it. You can do it.
We're gonna be crying like Oprah up over here.
Woo!
What's going? But
You can do it. You can do it. Yeah,
yeah,
you
you
can
hit
do
it,
it.
and that's amazing. I mean, what you
Yeah.
just said about we both come from corporate, so the imposter syndrome is real, and it's. So let me say this: it's one thing when it's a job. It's one thing when they put you in a leadership job or they put you in a because that's not it's a something that you do, but
Yeah.
we very rarely associate that's me, right?
Yeah.
But now when you're doing what you do, this is
That's
you.
me.
This is, I mean, and a lot of people, unless you are
Yeah.
artistic or unless you are creatively inclined, won't get that. What I'm doing here is I'm putting me
Yeah.
every day out to the world, not
Yeah.
going and doing a task for some other organization, some company, and that's a
Yeah.
huge difference. And walking that path, man. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That song is great. So
It's a great feeling. It's a great feeling.
yeah. So
Yeah.
now, what would you say if you could look back however many years, right, and talk to your younger self, for someone who's traveling the path of your younger self, right?
Mhm.
What would you share with them now that maybe they couldn't glean from just reading an article or a TikTok, watching a TikTok?
Yeah. I would say give your life to the Lord sooner than later.
Okay.
I would say set your standards and your guiding principles for every single choice that you're going to make in life. Set them,
Yeah.
keep them, and don't deviate from them. Believe that you can do and be whatever you want to be, and that you can make a living doing that. Figure out what that passion is. What's your passion? What do you love? Get good at it and do it. Just so it doesn't feel like work.
Wow.
Um, you're worthy of God's best. You are worthy. You are enough and you are worthy of his best. Um, from your friendships to your careers to who you choose to be in a relationship with.
Wow.
Um, yeah.
Wow.
Don't settle for less than what you deserve.
That's
That's what I would
amazing.
that's what I would tell myself.
Well, Bree, I have loved this, and I'm going to actually do a bonus question, right? Because we can stop right here, but I do have one question, and it's something that you touched on earlier that I did not know. You said, "Hey,
Mhm.
I've never wanted to do an album or be a recording artist or producing or write or produce anything," which
Yeah.
is, I think, I would say atypical for maybe. I'm just talking from from a musical artist perspective,
Mhm.
atypical, right? Because you said I want to be on the performance side. At least that's what I interpret on
Mhm. Mhm.
everything, not necessarily on the creative or production side. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, so now I love being creative and
Mhm.
producing things. I love
Okay.
directing things. I have a eye
Okay.
for I want things to be excellent. If I'm watching a show, I catch everything. When I'm learning a show and other people are like I used to get in trouble on the ships because I'm just the singer, right? But I'm watching rehearsal and this dancer might be off or somebody might be on the wrong. It's not my place to say anything, but I see it and listen, first of all, I'm usually the oldest one in the group, right? I told you I didn't start until I was like 34. So I became Mama Bree
Yeah.
anyway. So just just because of who I was, I always wanted to make sure people were their best and doing their best. Sometimes people didn't receive that well because who you telling me? I know and it didn't help that I was just as good a dancer, and I'm not bragging. I'm just saying I
Yeah.
grew
Yeah.
up dancing. So people were surprised when they saw that I could sing and dance as well as the dancers. I'm
Yeah.
like, put me in the dance number. What I need to sing, I'll dance too, right?
Yeah.
So it's all about stage for me,
Yeah.
performance. I just love entertaining, Carlton.
Wow.
I love sharing my gift.
Yeah.
I love what it feels like to be on stage and look out on the audience and see somebody, you know, clapping and getting, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
or
I
feeling it
do.
and whatnot, and connecting with the audience and captivating the audience and just, creating entertainment for people's pleasure.
Yeah.
I've never had the desire to write anything. Now I've written, I toyed with it a little when I was on the ship because I had so much time. Because all I did was perform at night, right?
Okay.
And little jobs here and there. But I've never sought to be an artist
Wow.
or get a record deal or get in the recording studio. Now I've done it just so I knew what that was like.
Yeah.
And I hired somebody to put me in there and teach me how to do background vocals and this and that, so that if I ever got asked to do it,
Yeah.
I would know how to be in the studio. But I just love the stage, Carlton. I love
Yeah.
to entertain. I love sharing my gift. And now I have a very special love for sharing coaching. You couldn't have told me in a million years, number one, that I'd be a singer for a living. I thought I was
Yeah.
going to be a dancer, but that I'd be coaching and teaching it.
Wow.
And
Okay.
I get so much joy from sharing that and helping people get from one point to the next, or hearing their voices grow, or seeing themselves get better. It
Yeah.
just makes me. Sometimes my kids think something's wrong with me because I cry.
Yeah.
I'd be
Well,
like, "You did that. You hit that note, girl. You did that." I get excited.
well, you know what? And we've run into each other in some of those instances, right? Because I think we saw you, my family and I were out
Yes.
at one of the daughter of one of my wife's coworkers
Uh-huh.
was in a play,
And they were
and
my student. My student was in that same play.
your students, yeah. So I was like, "Is that Bree over there?" And we've done that a couple of times where we've seen each
Yeah.
other out in passing.
Yes.
And you said that you are the mom in the studio. Don't get it twisted. You do it to me too, right? We've been on the stage together, and as much as like I think I'm as good as
My
anybody
bad,
else.
Carlton.
Bree,
My
she'll
bad.
she'll sit back. She's like, "Bro, like you could do it better than that. That's not you. That's not you. And
Oh my
what you
goodness.
just did wasn't it. So why don't you do it again?" I was like, "Oh, yes, ma'am." But I love that though because I
It's
think
love. It's love.
yes, we
Oh
get.
my
Oh
goodness.
my
Check
goodness.
me now. Check me, Carlton. I'll just be, you know, check me, baby. Check me.
We'll keep each other growing. How about that? So, but Bree, this has
Yeah.
been amazing. Is there anything that you want to say to the audience or to whether it's on YouTube or whether it's in Spotify or any of the podcast universe? Anything you want to share?
I just want to encourage everybody to go after your dreams, pursue your passions, and it doesn't matter how old you are. It is never too late to start over again. It's never too late to change your career. It's never too late to switch it up and do what you want to do. It's never too late to start the business. It's never too late to go into something new, a hobby, anything in life. The thing is, it's never too late. Never, never, never.
Never too late.
That's what I want to say. Never too
I
late.
love it. I love it. Thank you, Bree. Thank you for sharing yourself with us. Yourself is so amazing. So
Thank you,
I
Carlton. I
appreciate you.
appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. And thanks everyone for joining us. We'll be back very shortly with another episode of Singing Your Own Song. So until then, continue to sing your own song each and every day. Thank you. Peace.
I'm coming out. I want the world.
Thank you for tuning in to this installment of Singing Your Own Song. We hope you enjoyed today's adventure and that it uncovered valuable insights on living a purpose-driven life. Don't forget to subscribe, follow us, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. Your feedback fuels our mission to bring you more compelling stories and lessons from individuals who are singing their own song and redefining success on their own terms. We invite you to connect to Carlton Burrows on social media and visit us at singingyourown.song.com to stay updated on upcoming episodes, behind-the-scenes content, and to join our vibrant community of purpose-driven individuals.